Give me that joy and I give me that funk. When I think of giving up. And give me that joy, 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 joy. Down in my soul. Hello. Hi, everybody. Whew. It's been a journey. Hi, Annie. It's been ages. Hello, everybody. Welcome to FLAWED TV. Welcome to FLAWED TV. I heard everybody's fine. Why does my glasses look like it's crooked? Okay. Welcome to FLAWED TV. Welcome to another opportunity where I bring in a guest and we talk about different things. Welcome to this series. We're still continuing on the series on mentors and influencers. I don't feel like a need to change this series because it really embodies a lot of things that I'm all about. So I think we're going to stay on mentors and influencers for a little bit longer. Today, I'm going to be talking with a dear friend. We go way back. Hi, Soji. I see you. Welcome. It's been ages. Haven't seen you. I trust you're well. So today we're going to be talking about women in leadership, and we're going to be looking at the different aspects of that. So there's something we're going to be talking about that today. So women in leadership. I will type it in a minute. So today I will be talking to a friend of mine that has been in leadership, in politics and in other things as well. And we just got talking a couple of days, a week or so ago. And we don't talk often, but when we do talk, we really do go in there. And we were having this really, really good conversation. And we just thought, you know what, it'll be good to bring it to the platform. And hopefully some other person could learn from it or get something from it. So I wait for my guests to come in. Until then, I just want to say this week has been a great week for me. I've had some great news coming, so I'm quite happy and excited, and give God all the glory. In the midst of everything else happening, just staying focused and looking at the things that God has done, even in the little wins. We call them little wins, but personally, they're not little, because it took us taking a chance and being consistent and persistent to achieve a thing. So whenever we do achieve a thing, it is not a little win. It's a big win because it's me. It's for me. So I'm celebrating that this week. Yes, and everything else seems to just be happening. Nothing really to report as such. So other things are happening in the world and, issues around, but nothing really for me to report. Yes, I'm in the UK, and yes, the head of state really passed away, and people are honoring it, and that's great. And it just got me thinking, before Bimbo comes on. And it just got me thinking, just one thing I'm going to leave, that there's a line between honoring and worshiping. And so as we honor people, as we honor things, let's know that we cannot exalt those things above God. Everything is still subject to God. So we can honor, but let's not take it into worship, because by the time you move it into worship, it becomes idolatry. So that's just something that's been niggling in my head past couple of days now. So we're just going to move on to happy things as I wait for my guest to come on. Hi, Bimbo.
Hello, Angie.
Welcome. We made it. I wish they knew all that's gone on in the background to just make today happen, but
Honestly, let's just keep that a secret. There's no need for that.
No, it's part of what we're going to be talking about today. Sometimes we need to let people know what's happened in the back, because when they see everything up front, they just assume it's easy. There's work. Yeah. But before we go in, please, I haven't done any introduction. I've only let people know that we go way back. We're not going to allow them calculate. We go way back.
way back. When women were girls.
When that is a beautiful way. When women were girls, when women were little girls, you know. But thank God for good primary schools back then and secondary schools that we created this relationship from. So please introduce yourself to the people. Who are you?
Well, my name is Bimbo. Well, Angela has said I should introduce myself the way, well, I'm called in some places as Honorable Abimbola Ike Nicholas. You don't want to ask me why I have so many names, but I'm sure from my name you know that, yes, I'm a Yoruba woman proudly married to an Igbo man. And yeah, I'm a mother to 4 wonderful children. Yes. I'm the wife to a wonderful man, and I'm a life coach. I'm a businesswoman. I'm a politician. You know, all of that and so much more. I always tell people that at different times in life, you are called up to be at different things at different times. So far, I've been a banker also. So far, these are the roles life has. I found myself in life. I don't know about the future, but for now, yes, those are things, those are names or titles I can give myself so far.
I'm going to let them in on something I said to you. You're a woman with so much that keeps it so. I think for me, I wanted to talk to you as well, and I'm going to let them know, because in our conversation, I have always known from the days of even primary school, and I think we have Soji that can attest to this. We knew some people. Soji is online.
Oh, wow.
So when you say people, you can identify where they were going to go from childhood. You were definitely somebody that
sorry about that.
That's okay. We're definitely somebody that we knew was. I just for me, I thought, you're still going to write, because you were the writer from baby. From the time we were young, so we know you were going to. But I definitely knew you were somebody that was always committed and dedicated to what you do. So I wasn't surprised for you going into politics, which we're going to talk about, and for you doing all these different things. I love the way you said, as a woman, we wear different hats. As a woman, we're going to wear different hats at different times. We're going to have different titles at different times. And the topic of women in leadership is not just, when we say women in leadership, a lot of times we think you have to be in a particular role that is out, like you said, a politician, a head of a school, or a head of a bank, or a head of whatever. And we downplay all the other parts, all the other titles, all the other hats women wear. So please, just talk us a little bit on what's your idea of what a woman in leadership looks like. What is a woman in leadership?
Well, really, this part of the world, when we talk women in leadership, most times people tend to feel a woman in a position of authority, maybe in a political position, or at your maybe up the career ladder. That's our idea. Basically, yes, because we're still in a society where women are still struggling to find their place in the scheme of things in a very male-dominated world. So people tend to feel, yes, that's it. But for me personally, I always say leadership is a relative term. Relative because at different places, different positions in life, leadership, you're called upon to lead. A woman in leadership can be a woman. You can be a leader in your home. You can be a leader in church. You can be a leader at work. You can be a leader at your chosen career, in your chosen career. You can be a leader politically. You can be a leader as a civil servant in government. What leadership simply means to me is a woman taking a front role in every situation, a woman taking ownership of anywhere she finds herself, not being relegated to the back, not allowing yourself to be relegated to the background because of your gender. That is simply being a leader, taking the bull by the horn and saying, look, my environment, my world, I'm here. You're calling attention to yourself. I can lead, I can be somebody. And so even in your home, you know, that's a very sensitive topic that most times I'm always like, because we have so many cultural biases that are ruling us. So when you're telling a woman, you can also be a leader, even in your home. No. The husband is the head of the family. I can't be the leader in my home, but you have to be a leader over your kids. You have to be a mentor to your kids. You have to be a leader to your in-laws. Some of them will look up to you. You have to be a leader, sometimes even to your husband. Sometimes you have to take him by the hand and lead him to some right ways and say, look, I think you should do that. You can do this. You should do this. So leadership is really a relative term, and it's wider than what we see. For me personally, it's wider. So as a woman, you're a leader. That's the truth. As a woman, you're a leader. Now, deciding whether you want to take leadership to the next level, it's dependent on you. But every sphere of life, leadership is it.
I like what you said about leadership being taking ownership. Because when we hear leadership, we always see it in a sense of a domineering and position that, you know, that's domineering and suppressing.
You're on top.
You're on top, and being on top means that you're going to, and even the idea of even being on top means that you're going to have to suppress others. And it's not necessarily so. Leadership is taking lead, is having initiative, is being aware of your surroundings and saying, how do I impact my environment? How can I influence my environment? How can I influence people? I love that. So she says, leadership is to serve. Absolutely. How do I serve the people around me? And if you're going to serve the people around you, you have to take ownership. So you can't say, this does not concern me, I don't get involved. You know, you can't say, I always look at it as, strangely enough, I think this is just a God thing. I was one of those women that just felt like anything that had to do with other women, it's like, please leave me out of this. I don't want to be involved. Not because I was anti-women. It's just the feeling of, I don't want the bickering. I don't want to hear the whatever. And I think that's what we do as women. But thank God there's the encouragement of women encouraging one another. I love to hear that whole women supporting women. Yeah. And I want us to talk about that, women supporting women. How do women support other women? Because what I hear sometimes, some people do it right. And I think some people to have taken it as well and taken that position of leadership and not serve with that leadership as women. So instead of bringing up other people, other women, it doesn't even have to be by age. It could be in your career. You're a woman in an office or whatever, and another younger lady comes in a role you were in the beginning. How do you mentor her? How do you encourage her so that she can be the best of herself and not feel threatened by her youth or her maybe experience or intelligence or exposure? These are the things. So how can we women support women positively?
It's a big one, really, because when you talk, let me isolate politics now. Most times when you talk to men, you know, there's been this fight by Nigerian women for inclusion. They tell you we want 30% inclusion, women in every position, whether at every level. And there's been that push. And it's simply, sometimes it's like hitting your head on the wall. And then when you talk to the men folks and you ask them a question that, why don't you, they will always say that men are not the enemies of women, women are the enemies of women. That some of you are still holding on to your cultural beliefs that a woman is not meant to be here. That look, he now said something, he said, okay, fine. you're a woman and you're supporting another woman to go to a particular position, which you find out that your brother-in-law or maybe your husband is interested in. And now this is a fellow woman or somebody that you know, somebody, a friend to a friend that's a man is also gone in for. Are you going to leave your sister and support the man, or you leave the man and support the woman? And you know that I was so angry. I was like, what kind of question are you asking me? And I said, look, you have to answer this because look, let me tell you something. That several times we have seen women come up and say we want to be this, and it will be other women that will come behind their backs and pull them down. They call it in the amongst women folks, and we call it pull them down, pull her down syndrome. And you now go that he said if you ladies can get rid of envy, jealousy, and this unhealthy competition. I always say something. If men are fighting, when it comes to a general purpose, they know how to dump all the emotional garbage, all the sentiments, and they all come together and face what they are. But a woman will hold on to her emotion. Oh, no, I don't like the way she spoke to me. I don't like the way she treated me. I don't like you spoke to me in a rude way. Do you know who I am? And we hold on to all those things, and at the end of the day, we lose focus and we lose the important things. So it's something that is, I'm telling you something, as I worked in the bank and I suffered this at a time in my life where another woman will just look at you and just tell you that I just feel, I don't like your personality, you're too intimidating, I just need to bring you down. I had a boss, a female boss, that told me that, look, let me tell you, when I want to deal with somebody, I don't just stop at that level. I will deal with you. I'll beat you until you are down. Even when you are down on the floor, I'll keep beating you until you die. And when she told me that, I just looked at her like this. I was like, and I'm this kind of person. By my personality, I don't like being hassled. I don't like being bullied. So you will never get the best out of me. I don't care who you are. You'll see me rise up and start fighting for myself. And that was exactly what I did. Now, this is somebody that normally would have like, oh, this is a sister. Let me, bring you close. Let me support you. Let me push you up. Yes. But then you see with other male folks, she's just okay and dandy. Or with the female folks, she has issues. And I was like, this is just what we're talking about. This is a typical example of what we're talking about. And so I actually took that to heart. So I found myself later on in life, anytime I see a woman or a lady, I just speak interest and I'm like, no, I'm not going to be the one, because you know something, I discovered something some time ago, that the reason why a lot of ills are happening around our youth is simply because we don't have good enough female mentors. We don't have mentors. We don't have women that will take the younger generation by the hands and walk them through life and tell them, look, I've been here, I've done this didn't work for me, this worked for me. So for me, I feel it's something we really need to work on. I don't think we have enough of that. We have enough of women that are so self-absorbed. I'm sorry, I'm a woman. Sometimes when I talk as a woman, people are like, why are you so hard on women? I'm hard on women because for me, I have a passion to see women just excel. So I'm not going to hold back and say because I'm a woman I don't want to know. We need to tell our
we have to speak the truth. We need to look each other in the eyes
and tell it as it is.
Because if we don't speak the truth, you said two things I want to mention there, and I'm glad that the gentleman brought up the things I was going to talk about the challenges we have as women when it comes to supporting ourselves. The basis I always see is when you have a very low self-esteem, when you're not confident, you will be intimidated by another.
True.
It will cause, I think, confidence and a lack of a true identity has a way of that's what gets in the way. And the other thing you said, which was mentors. Who is going to break this cycle? It has to start from somewhere and somewhere. Sure. And so that's why we talked about when we say women in leadership, it starts from the ground root. Motherhood is a leadership position. Sisterhood is a leadership position. As older sisters, how are we to our younger sisters? As mothers, how are we teaching our daughters? Are we being honest with them? Is there transparency? Is there vulnerability? Because people don't tell people the truth. You know, there's a way our parents would give an advice. Oh, don't go to that tribe, or don't talk to this. I'm like, why?
Why?
You can't just give. They might have an idea. They might, instead of saying, okay, you know, the people that come from this place, they believe in a level kind of respect. There's a way you should address them. Give the rest of the information. Teach that whole thing. So as mothers, I really believe that's where the first leadership comes in, because you have the responsibility to build up your child or break your child. You know, so identity and self-confidence, what is your take on that? Because if we are confident, I believe we'll be better. But where do we start?
You see, identity and self-confidence is that very generic issues. They are issues that don't start after you're a woman, right from when you're small, right from when you're young. For our own generation, our mothers and our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers were too absorbed in even trying to survive as women in their homes that they might not have given such attention to issues of self-confidence and identity in their daughters. Some of them were in polygamous homes where they were just trying hard to survive, you know, and have their voices be heard. Some didn't even have very good marriages, so they might not really give attention. But our own generation were a little different. Why? Because we've seen it. We're out there. We're more exposed. We're more outgoing. And we now understand issues. The issue of self-confidence is such. By God's grace, I have 3 daughters. And every day of my life, it's so bad now that I had to call one of them the other day. I said, I'm not raising up a tout. When I say fight for yourself, I don't mean fight. I mean stand, you know, because I've so...
Sorry, I have to stop you, because that's a very important thing. I don't want you to forget that. There's a difference when you say fight for yourself. I want you to come back to that later on. Very important. Yeah. Please.
Yes. And I said, all I'm trying to tell you is this. Like today, during our morning devotion, we're talking about, we touched the topic called mental bullying. And we're talking about it. I said, look, some people don't bully you physically. They bully you mentally. They bully you emotionally. They try to intimidate you and run you down mentally to start thinking lower of yourself. As I remember, one of my daughters came home once and she was telling me something. I'm just giving this example. And she said, Mommy, suddenly I'm in SS3 and all my friends are dating. Everybody around me, even some of them, we had all agreed we're never going to do this in secondary school. I just resumed school and everybody is now dating. They're all in pairs. I said, so? He said, so when they ask me, why are you? I'm like, I'm not interested. That's not my focus. That's not what I need in my life now. And I keep telling them that. So she said, no, but there's a particular guy who is dating one of her, or who was dating one of her very close friends. And one day, that guy just told her, said, why are you such a third wheel? Why are you always a third wheel? And you see a couple, like, why are you always a third person, like a third wheel? Always, you know, he was trying to bully her, said, why don't you just go and get a guy for yourself and stop being a third wheel in other people's relationships? She came home that day. She was almost at the point of tears. She said, Mommy, that statement got to me. As in, it hurts me so much. It hurt me so much. I said, so what did you tell him when he said that? He said, I just told you, I don't like the way you're talking to me. I said, that's the, about my daughter. You know? I said, you allowed a guy to run you down mentally like that and go away. And I called her, I sat her down, we're alone in the car. And I said, wait, you know that I've always been the type to tell you, I've raised you up to be a lady. I tell you that, okay, always comport yourself, let your language always be civil, be, you know, composed and all of that. I say, yes. I said, I have just one exception to that. She said, what do you mean? I said, The only time when I will allow you to go into the gutter with anybody is when that person is trying to bully you mentally, psychologically, or emotionally. I said, please go down to the gutter with that person. She said, oh, mommy, this is not your language. I said, yes. You know why? If you don't go down to the gutter immediately with that person, what he has said to you will register. Will start running your spirit down. Will start doing a very bad job on your psyche. But immediately he says that and you give it back to him, something happens. You have dispelled of the nonsense he's telling you. I said, so you know what you do next time? Mama, you see this, my daughter, she's a very innocent girl. She doesn't know how to abuse people. I said, just look at it from head to toe. Look at the very, very, very good point about him that you know you can use to hit him hard. I said, we will not be that bad, as in, you know, use some terrible things to talk to him, but look at those things. First of all, tell him from head to toe that of all, if there are evil guys in the school, number one, I don't even know what this girl sees in you, because you're not just up to the class of boy. I feel, if I'm irritated with her. I said, finish that. Then after that, I've looked at the whole school. I've not seen one boy that is worthy of me. Come on. Even tie myself. I said, finish him. I said, including you and all your friends. I said, I tell them that, look, if I want to date, even if I want to date, it will not be at your level. It will be with people that have more class, have more. I said, when I finished that, it's just like, oh, mommy. I said, yes. Then when you now finish with him, I said, I'm telling you, I'm warning you, he should never talk to you like that again. And then when you're do a 360-degree and catwalk away from him, so he will know that you didn't get to. You know, she just looked at me and she was like, oh, mommy, I've learned another one. I said, yes. I said, but that's the only time you're allowed to behave like that. Any other day, please be yourself, be civil, be all that. I said, you know why you must do that? And I explained to her, confidence is very key. Don't let anybody rob you of it. You took a stand and you made your decision. You didn't want to date at that age. Don't let anybody humiliate. I have my third daughter is having that issue now with another girl who is always on her kiss. Why are you not dating? Why are you not dating? You should be dating. Meanwhile, they're in SS2. But you should be dating by now. Why? You should have a guy by your side.
How old is that? That is
between the age range of 13 and 15.
13 and 15, yes, okay.
So they're doing that with my daughter, and she was like, she said, do you know, and she was mentioning the girl, she said, mommy, she's just a bully. I said, she will just be on your case. I said, she's not bullying you, she's trying to manipulate you. So you tell her
to break you down.
Yeah, I said, the reason why she's doing that is because she's feeling uncomfortable with the fact that you're not doing it and she's doing it, and that makes her wrong and you right. And so she's just trying to get you down to
the environment we're living in. So everybody is going one way, and it's like you're the lone ranger in the midst of all this. And where do you know?
Yeah. So I encourage them to talk to me like that. And what I just try to do is that I just try to like let them know that, look, you need to build up confidence. Confidence, and your confidence should not come from my daddy has this, my mommy has this. It should never come from, oh wow, I wear designers. It should never come from, oh, do you know what my daughters went to a school where they told me that they want to leave the school. So do you know what they ask? The kind of stupid questions they ask in this school, mommy. They go, so do you live in a duplex or in a bungalow?
Wow.
If you say I live in a duplex, you say, how many rooms are in your duplex? How many cars does your father have? She said, they're like, mommy, and they were coming fresh from Lagos. They're like, this is disgusting, mommy. Please, we want to leave this school.
But it's no child. They must have learned it from someone.
From somebody. Good. That's where I'm going. So you see, most of us are victims of our background. And that's why I always tell them. I said they are victims of their background. That's what they have heard people older than them doing, and they're just following in their footsteps. So the issue of confidence and identity is very, very key. I always tell people, I tell anybody that cares to listen, if you do not have confidence, I tell people that, I told a young lady once, I said, confidence is the sexiest garment you can wear.
Absolutely.
I said it's sexier than a two-piece bathing suit. He said that, look, that's, I just said, I said, look, do you know that self-confidence on a woman is a turn-on for every man?
Absolutely.
I said, don't ever think that you being timid will attract you to a man. Confidence is something that a lot of us, our level of confidence, we learned from our parents, from our mom, how they related when they were married, how we grew up with them. Some of us saw our mothers timid and we ended up being timid. Some of us saw our mothers timid, we didn't like it and we went the other way. Some of us, I grew up with a mom who, if you put butter in her mouth, you come back, you still need the butter melted. You put salt in my mother's mouth, come back 1 hour later, the salt is still there, it hasn't melted. That's the kind of mom. I didn't like it. And I used to say, I don't want to be like that. And I have all my sisters are practically, they're all like, no, we don't want to be like that. And we all ended up not being like that. But you still see a little bit of her is still on our inside. Sometimes we can become a little introverted. But
it's back to that conversation. If you have a conversation with her, you'll find out that there's a reason for that. But we just might not know. And this is part of this is part of the sharing and with us as women, where we say there's a reason I'm this way. And I can and there's a thing that you as her daughters who are younger can still tell her mom, but you don't have to, there's a learning. What I'm trying to say is that we should come to a place where we are learning from one another, regardless of our ages.
No, we had that conversation. And she explained to me why she had to be like that. She had to explain to me, had to explain to my sisters why she had to take that. And without her telling me, I got to find out as I was growing up why she had to be like that. And I now decided, oh, well, I will never be like that. I will never put myself in a situation where I have to take the decision you took. And I had to now impart that even on my own the generation coming after me, whereby there was one time in Lagos, we were having a conference called CALSO. It's committee of the wives of men in leadership and women in leadership. Just women. We had that. And I remember one day, there was a topic on the fact that girls and confidence and the fact that girls don't have respect for their bodies anymore. You see them on videos, blah, 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 blah. So I got up and I said something. I said, you guys don't understand what's going on. Some of these girls are feeding their families. Some of them are from very, very poor backgrounds. That when they go and they dance half naked on TV, the little money they get, they take home. Because when people were like, don't they have mothers? Can their mothers caution them? I said, a mother that is finding it hard to eat. A child goes out and says, I have paid in just one small video and they gave me this amount of money. Mama, take and see whether you can just use it to put one or two things together. And say, my daughter, God bless you. Her daughter is hustling. So when you come back to tell that woman that your daughter is dressing half naked, she'll be looking at you because there's a conflict going on inside her. Should I maintain that decency or should I starve? I said, so you're in a society where women are made to take very, very hard decisions over their daughters. I'm not justifying that. I would never justify that. But the truth of the matter is that I told them that you have to be deeper into.
We have to be realistic. You can't make a judgment in your comfort from where you are as well.
And make a judgment. You don't know what they are passing.
You don't understand the full picture of what is happening.
Good. And I said, some of these girls, when you see them, they're really good girls. But the truth of the matter, they are forced to do these things. They're like, it's better than prostitution, and they're forced to do these things. And then, and so I said, so the truth of the matter is that kind of girl growing up, something starts happening to her self-esteem, where she feels, when she has to remove her clothes and dance half naked on the screen, something starts happening to her self-esteem.
She loses the value of herself. There's no
her body for herself.
Herself is lost.
Do you understand? And so there are several factors that contribute to the issue of confidence. But I will always tell anybody that cares to listen that building confidence in one another is so important, especially for a woman. And a man that does not have confidence can build up his confidence by having money and all of that. You see, when a woman does not have confidence, oh my goodness, it's terrible. It's terrible. So, and then identity is such that
no matter how much money she gets, that issue is going to show up in like we said,
at every different times of our life.
Like we said, it will be everybody. Another woman always becomes the enemy. always
That's
become
it.
somebody that is a front,
That's
like
it.
who you have to compete against.
And that takes me back, that takes us back to that first question about women not lifting other women up. That's part of the reasons why some women cannot lift up another woman. That's it. That's part of the reason why some women, I mean,
Which is so sad. Which is so sad because if I have been through something, the hope is that I should be able to lead another person through without having that person go through what I went through.
the same,
Yeah, that should be their heart, to elevate other women. I saw a panel. I didn't really watch it. I just saw the picture. This new movie out with Viola Davis out right now. And I think there's some other younger Black girls or young ladies that were in that movie with her. And she was on the show. And I saw the way she kind of pushed them. She was giving them a platform that let them stand on this platform because I'm on this platform. Let them come up. And it took nothing from her. And that for me is what being women in leadership should be. Being able to elevate other women on any platform you are. And that should be the, that should be the all in all. I think, like we said, going back, it has to be from every little sphere. Everywhere you are a woman and there's other young women there, you should be impacting them positively. You said something about how to fight like a lady. I want us to talk about that. How do you fight as like a lady? How do you? Let's use that word fight. I will use that. How do you defend yourself, or how do you hold yourself? And still, how do you comport yourself in a situation where you have things coming up against you? You have all this. How can you do it decently? I ask this question because it's so cool nowadays for women to be crass, in my opinion. I find there's a particular way that is being spoken that is just assumed that is just the way. There's a thing called being a bad biatch. I'm not going to say that, but and that for them is like, doesn't mean that they're being rude. It's just like, you got to be a bad whatever. And that is what it is to be in control and in power. And I'm thinking, do you have to be crass? Can't it be done in another manner? Can't you? I tell people, I say, if don't ever get me twisted. Jesus is the one helping us along the way. That is who we're holding on to. But don't ever get my meekness. Don't get it twisted. And I love I said, if I want to be very, very British, I will insult you and you only figure it out 3 days later at 3 a.m. in the night, and you wake up and she goes, oh my goodness, Angela just insulted me. That for me is how you deal with it. But how would you say women should fight like ladies?
Okay. This morning, I told you that we talked about several issues with my kids, and this question was one question my first daughter asked me. She said, Mom, somehow I'm getting some things confused, that it seems for you to survive in the world now, for you to be taken serious, you have to be in a particular way, in a particular form that's not so normally acceptable. You have to be bad. People have to see you as, that kind of person before they take you serious, before they feel you have something to say, before you are accepted, and before you can make it with people.
You have to be loud. You have to be loud, abrasive, aggressive.
Exactly. So she was telling me all of that, and I started laughing. I said, no. That is the impression they are trying to make you have so that you can be like them. I said, that's not true. I said, the Bible said something that be as innocent as a dove, but be as smart as a serpent. I said, that's the balance that you need in the world. I always use a word for them when I'm talking to them. I'm always like, be street smart. Be street smart. I always use that word a lot for them. Because I told one of them once, she went to the supermarket and she was cheated and she came back home. And I was like, why didn't you just stand up for yourself and say, you cheated me? She was just looking at me like this. I said, come. I gave back to you in Lagos, so I didn't give back to you in London. You need to be street smart. What is all this?
Well, we're street smart in London too. We're street smart here too.
You need to be street smart. Don't let people feel that, look, there are some people, they are predators. They smell you a mile away. When they know you're naive and innocent, they will just hone in for the kill. Don't ever let people feel you can be taken advantage of. That you need to think on your 2 feet, 247 when you're with people. So when she was asking, and I said, do you know I always use the word street smart for you? She said, yes. I said, you must learn to be street smart. That's what Jesus was trying to tell you. When he said, be as wise as a serpent, be street smart, but do not lose your innocence. Lose your innocence is this. Don't lose your personality. Don't let go of your dignity as a person. Don't allow what they are doing change you. But be ready to give it to them at every particular point in time, so they don't look. This I told them, I said, this world is just a battleground. If you're not standing firm, you'll be run over. That's the truth. And there's no free lunch in China. Nobody's having pity on you. I said, even the next friend to you that you feel understands, she does not understand you. When it comes to choosing between her own interest and your own interest, she will choose her interest. I said, you need to be, look, you don't have to be selfish. You don't have to. I said, look at, I always had them go to Galatians chapter 19. You see all the fruits of the Spirit, bear them. But when there are times, there are situations.
But how do you stand? How do you stand
For yourself?
How do you stand your ground? Sorry, it's
cutting off. The way you stand your ground. Yes. How you stand your ground?
Yes. How do you stand your ground? With an integrity and poise. How do you do that when the world is coming at you so?
Yes, you see, it's a mind game, really. At the end of it all, it's a mind game. And when the world is coming at you, you see, you've seen some films where some ladies, when they want to fight, they just remove their stilettos, keep them aside. You know, with poise, they remove their jewelry from their necks. They remove their wigs, excuse me, and remove their wig and put it on. Okay, so ring. I tell people that, you see, when we're growing up as Christians, we're told, don't be meek, be this, so, and that's the truth. That's what Christ expects you to be like. Be meek, be mild. That's what the society expects you to be like. But you see, at the end of the day, it's a mind game. It's look, your mind is being attacked. When it is time, the way you take your stand is this. What do I believe? This is what I believe. I am not backing down from what I believe. And sometimes you may have to pay some huge sacrifices for it. Maybe a boss is telling you, oh, you have a client. Yeah. He says he wants to sleep with you, sleep with him. But just make sure you bring the account in. Now, or you don't do that, your job is on the line. At that particular point, it's either you're like, oh God, now I need wisdom to deal with this matter. You try all you can to do that without, if it comes down to it, then you have to choose. Those are some serious questions you ask yourself. How do I fight? Because I'm in a marketplace now. How do I fight to survive? At that particular point, you must think outside the box. I always tell people there's always a solution. Only that you have not opened your mind to get the solution. There's always a way out of every situation. That's the truth. But you see, we are so profiled problems. Well, you know, we profile problems a lot. When this issue comes up, this is how you react to it. This is what you do. There's nothing like that. When issues come up, you need to sit down and think, because every situation has its own peculiarity. How do I come out of this? Okay, fine. This particular man that wants to sleep with me to give me an account, let me understand what are his weaknesses. What other weaknesses does he have? How else can I approach this matter? How else can I get to him? Does he have a friend I can talk to? Can I talk to somebody that can talk to somebody that can talk to somebody to him for me? Can I just look for a way to calm him down? Then when the push comes to shove, you've tried everything you can. Then it's now, should I maintain my dignity or I let it go to keep my job? That point is your decision between yourself, not and God, though, between yourself and yourself. At that particular point, which is more important to you? Nobody can choose that for you. It's you. But what I'm trying to say is this. When you are boxed into a corner and you need to stand, you must learn to stand. And after you have fought the battle, you must remain standing. That is the most important. Some people fight, they win, but they end up dead. You must fight and remain alive after you have fought your battle. So
that act of being cunning is, you're saying, what I'm hearing is, you have to think outside of the box. You have to be, you cannot be defeated, because somebody would actually, in that kind of situation, you can have somebody say, oh, how dare you ask me da, and just fly off the handle, which she has every right to do.
Right.
But you have a choice. It's really the choice is going to go down to what is important for you. How do you value yourself? Or how do you think you can overcome that particular hurdle without, because like you said, the marketplace is a tough place, especially for women. So there's and we're going to be confronted by things that men are not confronted by. You're going to be, so for you to progress in that place is going to require a lot of wisdom, a lot of
wisdom. That's it.
A lot of wisdom. So you have to find another way to get around as best as possible, keeping your integrity and your dignity as a woman intact. You know, and this is where for me I feel other women that have already, as you know, gone past their certain stages should be able to create environments or
my sister, it doesn't work that way. You get there, they're like, okay, if that's what it takes, then you have to do it. I'm telling you, sometimes women are the ones that do the pushing. They're like, maybe some of them pass through that and they have to just give in.
Because of that, you would hope that, you know,
they don't want somebody else to go through
that to happen to another. And that is the hope that, and that is why we said it has to start from the home. And if it's missed at home, then they come another avenue. You'll meet young women is in the schools. Are you a teacher? Are you a caregiver of some form? If you miss it in schools, you will catch them again in the workplace. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to say is there are opportunities for us
everywhere, at every level,
to correct this thing and to be women that are honorable and dignified and want the fullness of what it is to be a woman that is not second class. We are equal in the eyes of God with separate responsibilities and expectations and giftings and talents. And those things are very important. So that whole, a woman can do better than a man, it's not about competing. They are in their separate strengths, but equally the same. And I think that is something that as women, we need to learn more of. We need to get involved more in building that aspect.
Another thing is this, Angela, there's a mentality. You see, a lot of things, like I told you, a lot of things have to do with the mind, our mentality. There's some mentalities that some ladies already are programmed with, like politics. Do you know some women actually go into politics with the idea that, well, you must be willing to be loose. You must be willing to, you know, play ball to get ahead politically. It's a notion. And that's why you will see the average man, when they hear a woman and you're in politics, oh my God, she must be a loose.
She slept her way up.
She slept her way up.
Could that be?
And it doesn't work that way. You see, let me tell you, I always tell people, when you get to a place, you have two options. you have one option: to sell yourself with your brains, or sell yourself with your body.
Absolutely.
Two options.
Absolutely.
Now, if you go in and you're not willing to, you're not willing to play ball, they first look at you and they'll give you a tough time. Okay, so you feel you are. But when they see that you're adamant and you're standing your ground, they begin to respect you. I mean, this one and our wahala, we don't want. And they just,
and being good at your job. And I think what is important as well with leadership is, don't just go there one thinking because I'm a woman I should have an easy ride. Do you qualify? Have you done what it is to qualify to be at that place? So that, just like you're saying, because you know you qualify and you can do the job, I think nobody's going to deny the fact that you're good at your job.
True.
You know what I mean? And if you're good at delivering, they might not like you, but they like what you do.
What you do. Simple.
You know?
Simple. And then some people, just because they feel you're a woman and they see you're a woman, oh, this one is an easy catch, let me just go. I'll just intimidate her, and, you know. And then when they come there and they find you and they see that, oh, it's not the way they actually felt it would be, the first thing they do is, oh, you know, they take a step back. Two things: is that they respect you, or they try to start running you down. And you're going to see a lot of things in politics. That's why I tell people, when a woman says, I want to jump, I'm like, okay, before you join politics, you have to do a mind reset. One is the fact that it's a normal thing. It's a normal thing. I met a man recently who is close to somebody very, very, very high. And we're talking, and he was just telling me how they used to pimp for the man, bring ladies and blah, 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 blah. And he said, you know, it's not people like you now. You know, you are executive women. You are not the kind of woman that somebody should try that kind of nonsense with. And I just looked at him like this. I just spent up to an hour talking with him when he said that. And that's what I always say. It's all in the body language. What's your body language? Yes, they say some men, whether your body language is right or not, they will still try. But first things first, what's your body language? Are you available? Do you show your availability in your body language? Because it's otherwise, you see me, I don't put the bulk at the foot of men, because I always say something. A man has a right to say, come, this is what I want. It's your own prerogative to say no. Quick makes it better as far as I'm concerned. And the truth is this: when you enter an environment, I've heard it several times. I hate that statement. She slept her way up. And I'm like, are you telling me? One day I asked the man, I said, if you and I were in class in secondary school, believe me, I would have beat you hands down. Academically, I would have beat you hands down. I said, why would you now come out? And then you now feel because I'm a woman, I can't also work my way through just like yourself. I can't.
But I would really like to believe. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Oh, okay. Okay. I would like to, yeah. I would like to believe that. I would like to be, no, but you as a counselor, as a mentor, and let's talk about that. How has that been for you? What are the things that you would encourage other women to do? You know, to support other women, to encourage other women, to be there for other women. What have you done that you can say, this is certain things that I can advise, and I would say, let's do this.
Okay.
I wanted to end with hope. What is the hope?
No, really, the truth of the matter is this. When you see another woman, the first thing, you know, let me just give a small example. I got home that I was telling my husband, I was like, oh my God, women, we hate each other. That's just the truth. I went somewhere and I met a woman, and actually, well, in politics. They don't know, woman sees herself as elderly in politics. She was sitting next to me. You know, I was talking to somebody else engaged me, and I was talking with him, and I just noticed I could hear her tongue that she's from my place. So when she finished, I just tapped her and I said, "Ma'am, are you from Ondo State?" She just did like this.
Wow.
Yes, I turned. You know why? Because we were sitting in the same waiting room, and we're about to see the same person. And somehow, she got it into her head that this woman might not really make me get what I want from where I'm going. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why that should enter her head. But I knew what was going on in her mind. And I was like, I just turned back to the man that I was talking to, and I said, "Sir, so now that's a man who, he was the one that started asking me questions. You're a politician. Oh, madam, how do you cope politically? How do you manage the home with politics? How does your husband feel about this?" But we're just talking and we're talking. And a fellow woman did that to me. And you're like, I was saying women lifting women up. Let's maybe she's even somebody that's in a position to help me out. Do you know what that means? I'm doomed if she has to help me out. And I was like, but then later, when she saw me enter the office and she saw me relate. Yeah, I think we're having network issues. Okay.
Yes, it's better now. It's better now.
Okay. And she saw me relate with the person she wanted to see in a very cordial manner. And when I was done with him, and I came out, she wanted to engage me. And I said, "My sister, I'm sorry." I just looked at her.
All of a sudden, you are important to know.
And I looked at her from head to toe too, and I walked off.
Ooh. Some people will say that wasn't very Christian of you to do.
No. I have something to do with that. You know why?
I'm teasing.
No. You see, we read the Bible upside down. That's the truth. Jesus came to the marketplace. Some of the things Jesus said in the Bible will shock you if you decide to actually take them literally. You'll be like, "Are we sure this Jesus is the same Jesus?" Let me just, this is diversion. The day I read in the Bible and Jesus talked about the parable of the servant that was about to be sacked by his master, I started calling his master's debtors, because according to him, I'm a big man. I'm used to being a big man. I can't go and start digging trenches. I can't go and start doing. I will use
that is where sorry my dear, that is where the cunning comes in. He was about to lose his job, and he thought to himself, how do I make myself indispensable?
Now, but Christianity will tell us to go and start praying and fasting. But this guy, Jesus said something. Jesus said something that shocked the wits out of me. He said, "The children of this world are smarter than the children of light." That's an insult, sincerely speaking. And that's what they say. They say, "You're a Christian. She can't do anything. She's a Christian, Gary." And they walk all over you. So there's something called Christianity about. Do you know why? If I didn't do that to the woman, if I allowed her to eat her cake and have it, the next time she will do worse to another woman. But now, if she wants to talk to me, she must work hard to talk to me, because I gave it to her on the platter of gold. And I'm not saying I was anybody important or anything like that. I didn't have anything to offer her. I offered her friendship. And she stopped me.
Absolutely.
Yes, until she felt I was important enough for her to talk with, And then when she did that, I was just like, oh my God, women, women were just killers of each other. And I just went out. I said sometimes I don't really blame men when they talk sometimes. But what are we saying? If as a woman you cannot look, you must be partial when you see another woman. That's the truth. You know why? We don't suffer half the things. Men don't suffer half of the things we suffer.
Yeah.
You know, there have been days that me and my husband will go out, we'll have a talk there, and everybody will come back home. And I'm still expected to take care of the home. My husband goes into the room, lifts up his leg, do you understand? Puts on the AC, changes his clothes, and is waiting for madam to bring the food and to call him and say, food is ready. And the kids are waiting. I'm like, for crying out loud, we're coming from the same marketplace now. Yeah, I'm as tired as yourself. Do you understand? But as a woman, I have to do it. I have to keep my home. And so I always tell people that, you know, when you look at it, women are much more stronger. We do so much more than men. And that's the truth. They can't do half of the things we do. God doesn't say men are the breadwinners of the family. It's not true anymore. A lot of women are fending for their homes. A lot of women are covering their husbands. And so when you're saying a man is, I'm like, oh God. Do you know some women are at work, they're thinking, oh God, I can't afford to lose my job. This is what will happen to my home. And they say, you men, do you know how we carry the burden of the family? And I'm like, what? Women are carrying burdens too. Now, this generation.
It should be that's like I said, it's both of us with different strengths and different things coming together. When the two come together, then we can work it together.
Together. So I always tell people. I always tell people that look, as a woman, when you see, and the reason why I'm saying this, that as a woman, when you see another woman, know that this woman might be passing through stuff. This woman might not be having it easy. Let me help her out. Let me hold her by the hand. But let me ask her, what are you going through? What are you? And let me tell you, it's so bad now that even when you try to do that, another woman will look at you with suspicion. Why is she trying to be nice to me? Because I'm not used to women being nice to women.
But we have to break it. We have to break it.
You know when they start shouting, you know when they go, I don't participate in such nonsense. I'm sorry to say, women inclusion. The change must start with us. If I'm in an office and I'm going to employ, and you know, so my mother and I were somewhere today at an occasion, and we're talking about something we wanted to start, and it was like, we have to look for somebody that's a good manager for this thing. We need maybe a woman that will be comported, blah 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 blah. He was saying that. I said, but will a woman be able to cope, especially because of the working hours, blah blah blah? It's going to take a lot of challenge. You said that it's true. It's true because of the working hours, especially. A man is much better because sometimes he might have to stay over, might not go home that night, and blah blah. And we're talking, and you know, nearly finished talking in my mind. I was like, Abimbola, you've done it. You've done it. Okay, what makes me feel that a single woman who is not married cannot take that job and be willing to pay the sacrifice? If the pay is good enough, why am I profiling? Why am I stereotyping what she can do and what she cannot do?
And then putting her in a box already.
Do you understand what she can? Another woman, so a young lady somewhere might hear, and I'm like, I'm ready to do it. I can even sleep for 1 week if you want me to sleep at the workplace, as long as it's putting food on my table. And I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? Do you understand? And that's exactly what we're talking about. The stage starts with us, our own mindset. If you are a woman and you have another woman in your home as your
I need you to start again. If you have the connection went off there.
Okay. I was saying that before you start asking for women to be included in 30% inclusion and all of that, I don't fight such battles with them. I don't go fighting. When they say, women, let's mobilize ourselves, I don't go. Because I'm like, the change starts with us. Let us first take care of our own home. Let's settle these things amongst ourselves. Because if you see the level of rivalry and competition and envy amongst women, especially women in positions, you're like, oh my God, what is all this? And I'm like, I always ask a question, how does the next woman's pursuit affect mine? The sky is wide enough. You've never heard of two birds colliding. There are the problem with us is that we're so mentally backward. We can't think out things to do for ourselves. Oh, wow. So if we have like, we have 20 ministerial positions in Nigeria, and as a woman, I want to become a minister. And they say, okay, we have just space for 5 women, and 5 women are vying for it. Why can't I sit down like, okay, what else can I do apart from a ministerial position that's as good as that? Can't I create another office? Can't I give a proposal and say, let's start this? And I can't do that. Why can't I think outside the box? So that I will not find myself, competing. I won't find myself watching myself competing against other women like myself, I can decide, okay, fine. So we don't know, we're so mentally lazy. Okay, this woman is selling the same thing I'm selling. Why can't I do it in a different way? Why can't I, okay, fine, tune what I'm doing to sell to another level, segment of customers different from hers.
I don't need to break down her own business for me to thrive.
I don't need to break down her own business for me to thrive. So why can't we? But because of that competitive thing in us, that and our mental laziness, we find ourselves always struggling for the same place, for the same position, for everything. And meanwhile, we have more than enough. More than enough. Honestly, I told somebody once, I said, do you know how many portfolios are in this country? Do you know how many parastatals, how many agencies? All of you are just fixing. I think there are some agencies that even have more money than ministers. But you're not even looking at those places. Meanwhile, you're pursuing the big names.
This is the reason why I wanted you to come and talk. Because people are only seeing a little bit of our conversation that day. That day we were railing in 2 hours. And I love, and what I really love was your passion, and you have shown it, your passion for the women, for passion that we elevate ourselves, the passion that we grow, not in competition with men, just as we are.
As women, as ourselves.
As we are. I promised you an hour, and I want to make sure I honor that, because I know you've had a long day, and I really, truly appreciate you coming on. We could talk so much, and we're still going to do this. We're going to come back. You're going to come back, because there's stuff that we want to talk about, you know, I think we didn't even touch on the dating aspect yet. That we have to come back.
No, let me just tell you something. Do you know that I said the prayer to somebody, a young lady that I used to know, and she was like, oh, mommy, thank you so much. I'll try and remember. I'm not going. Oh, mommy, what about husband matters now? I want you to talk about that. I always like to listen to you talk about that. And I'm like, oh my God. I said, don't worry, I'll tell the person that owns the show. I'll tell her that she should talk about husband matters.
No. We're going to come back. We're going to come back in November. In November, you're going to come back, and we're going to talk about husband matters.
Husband matters. Very important.
But this is the beauty of it. But this is the beauty of it. As women, we are, you know, definitely the take home today is, as women in leadership, we are in a position to take agency, to take charge of wherever we are found. Elevate another woman, pull her up, support, encourage one another. Let us build our self-confidence, knowing that the fight is not with ourselves. You know, if we have a challenge, find that person you can talk to, you know. But it has been an absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
We're definitely coming back in November. And then we're going to talk about this marriage matter, husband matter.
Marriage matter. Very important. Husband matter.
This husband matter.
Husband matter.
I'm so proud of you. So thank you so much. I mean, I'm so proud of you.
Sorry, before I go, I want to recognize my mom. I can see she's online. Yeah, she's online.
Is Mom Felicia?
Yes, that's Felicia Dante.
Oh, welcome. Thank you, Mom. I see her. I thought she was maybe one of your sisters. Welcome.
No.
Thank you.
My sister was on earlier. I think she was there, but that was my mom.
Thank you so much. Thank you we have Caris, we have Mommy Dantes is on here. I have Nkiru as well, Inki Samuel and Roberts. So, my bros is here as well. Big bros is there, Mr. Soje. And I've got Soji. I have another Dantes was on. AO. I don't know who AO is. Who?
That's my baby sister. That's our last one.
And sign with Abiola and the signs with Abiola as well. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming in. My darling, let me let you go. Thank you so much. It's been a full-on day. I appreciate you, and well done with everything you do. It's so proud to see you. You know, definitely step up in the places that we knew you were going to go, and we know the sky is the limit. This is just the beginning.
Thank you so much.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. Oh, blessings. Thank you. So this is why I wanted her on here. This woman is passionate about women, and this is how we should all be as women. Really and truly, we should be passionate for one another. So thank you, everybody that has been on tonight. There'll be a replay. Please follow me on my YouTube channel as well. This will be uploaded, edited, and uploaded onto the YouTube channel, but this will be replayed here as well on IG. God bless you all. Have a fantastic week. Those of us in the UK, we're having a bit of a long weekend. Enjoy the weekend, and God bless, and see you soon. God bless you. Bye.